I guess they'll hire anyone these days. Captain Christopher Wade's voice cuts through the Friday night noise at the anchor bar like a knife through soft fabric. He speaks sharply and clearly, loud enough for 40 people to hear. It's the kind of meanness that comes with a smile. Aaliyah Torres doesn't react. She's on her knees, picking up broken glass surrounded by spreading puddles of golden liquid. 6, maybe 7 beer glasses lie smashed across the worn wooden floor of the bar just outside Naval Base Coronado. Her hands move carefully, picking up the bigger pieces first and placing them into her black plastic tray. She's done this many times before. Laughter spreads out from Christopher's table like ripples in water when you throw a stone. There are quiet chuckles and a few whistles. Someone whispers something about butterfingers. The bar sits just past the main gate, close enough to smell the salty ocean air from the Pacific, far enough to feel like regular civilian rules apply. Wooden walls hold many years of Navy history. There are framed photographs of SEAL teams from the past. There are plaques honoring missions that people don't talk about anymore. The ceiling fans spin slowly, pushing around air that's thick with the smell of beer. Fried food and something else, maybe testosterone, or judgment. Aaliyah's uniform is simple. A black polo shirt with the Anchor's logo stitched over her heart, dark jeans, and non-slip shoes that squeak a little on wet floors. Her brown hair is pulled back into a tight bun, not one hair out of place. At 5 feet 4 inches tall, she doesn't stand out in a room full of warriors. She's easy to overlook, easy to underestimate. Christopher leans back in his chair, arms crossed over a chest that shows he spends many hours at the gym. He's 38 years old and built like a football linebacker. His hair is cut military short, and his jawline looks like it could cut diamonds. His polo shirt has a seal trident over the left chest, made with real gold thread, the kind you earn. He wears it like armor, like proof. I mean, seriously, Christopher continues, playing to his audience of 4 other SEALs crowded around the high table. Standards must be dropping. Next thing you know, they'll let anyone serve us. More laughter. One of his friends, a younger operator with a fresh sunburn across his nose, slaps the table. Aaliyah's jaw tightens just for a heartbeat, then relaxes. Her grey eyes stay focused on her task. Pick up glass. Place in tray. Repeat. The breathing comes automatically. 4 seconds breathing in through the nose, 4 seconds holding, 4 seconds breathing out through the mouth, 4 seconds holding. This is the pattern her father taught her before she could even write her own name. Then she sees it, the ring. It has rolled under Christopher's chair, barely visible in the dim lighting. It's made of silver, but not the cheap kind. The metal catches what little light comes down from the overhead lights, throwing back a dull shine. Aaliyah's hand freezes for half a second, long enough for her heartbeat to skip, but not long enough for anyone to notice. She reaches for it slowly and carefully. Her fingertips touch the cold metal just as Christopher's boot comes down, trapping her hand against the floor. Not hard enough to hurt, but hard enough to make a point. Well, Christopher bends forward, looking down at her. What do we have here? He lifts his boot, and Aaliyah pulls her hand back. The ring comes with it, held between her thumb and pointer finger. She stands up in one smooth motion, with no wasted movement. And that's when Christopher takes it from her hand before she can close her fist. Nice prop. He holds it up to the light, turning it slowly. The trident shines, an eagle, anchor, and pistol all made into a single symbol. Every SEAL knows that image. Most regular people do too, thanks to movies and recruitment posters. But this one is different. The weight feels right. The detail is exact. The wear marks along the edges show years of use, not just weeks. Christopher's smile doesn't reach his eyes. eBay special. The bar has gotten quieter, but not silent. The jukebox in the corner still plays classic rock, and conversations continue at other tables. But there's now a bubble of attention centered on this moment, on Aaliyah's outstretched hand, on Christopher's mocking grin. Give it back. Aaliyah's voice is low and controlled. Each word costs her something. Why? Christopher tilts his head with fake innocence. Is this yours? Because, last I checked, you're serving drinks, not diving in Coronado. It belonged to my father! The words land like a grenade with the pin still in. Christopher's expression flickers just for a moment. Then the mask slides back into place. Funny! My father used to say that too. He pauses, letting the silence stretch. before he realized lying about service is a federal crime. Aaliyah's hand doesn't waver. I'm not lying. Sure you're not. Christopher tosses the ring into the air and catches it with one hand. Tell you what, you want this back? Prove it's real. Otherwise, he slips it into his pocket. Finders keepers. In the corner booth, near the bar's front window, a man who's been drinking the same beer for an hour sits up slightly. Chief Petty Officer Raymond Ramirez is retired and 65 years old. He wears a worn leather jacket over a faded SEAL veteran t-shirt and a baseball cap pulled low. His weathered face, all hard lines and sun damage, turns toward the noise. His eyes narrow. Aaliyah holds Christopher's gaze for 3 full seconds. Then, without a word, she turns and walks toward the back. Her hands are steady. Her breathing stays even. 4 in, 4 hold, 4 out, 4 hold. The tray of broken glass doesn't rattle. Christopher watches her go, then turns back to his friends. You see that? She probably bought it at a military surplus store. People like that make me sick. Ease up, Wade. The voice comes from a booth near the back wall. It's deeper and older. Commander Grant Hale sits with 2 other officers, all in regular clothes, but carrying themselves like they're still in uniform. Grant is 52 years old, with grey hair mixed through his close-cropped cut. He has the kind of thin build that shows he does distance running rather than powerlifting. His face is weathered in the way of men who've spent years squinting into sun and wind. The lady's just trying to do her job, just calling it like I see it. Sir. Christopher's tone carries the smallest edge of respect, but only because rank demands it. Stolen valor is everywhere these days. Grant says nothing. He lifts his water glass, takes a slow sip, and returns his attention to the conversation at his table. But Aaliyah notices, as she pushes through the swinging door into the kitchen, that his eyes follow her. Calculating, considering. The kitchen is all stainless steel and harsh, bright lighting. The smell of fryer grease hangs heavy. 2 cooks work the cooking line, barely glancing up as Aaliyah dumps the broken glass into the trash. She moves to the small employee break room off to the side, a closet-sized space with a single folding chair and a scratched mirror on the wall. She pulls a small cloth from her pocket and unfolds it carefully. Inside sits an identical ring. The real one, the one Christopher just put in his pocket, is a copy. She swapped them so smoothly that no one noticed her hand dipping into her apron pocket during those seconds on her knees. Sleight of hand, learned from a father who believed in having backups. Aaliyah cleans the ring with slow, careful strokes. The trident catches the light. Her thumb traces the worn writing on the inner band, letters so small they're almost invisible. R. Torres. Rafael Torres. Ghost 1. Not yet, Dad, she whispers. The door swings open. Sarah Brennan leans in. She's 31 years old, wearing the tan uniform of a Navy lieutenant. Her reddish-brown hair is pulled back in a regulation bun, and her blue eyes show real concern. You okay? Fine. Aaliyah slips the ring onto a chain around her neck and tucks it under her shirt. That was Wade, wasn't it? Captain Jerk himself. Sarah moves fully into the room and lets the door close behind her. They've known each other since high school, back when Aaliyah was just a military kid moving between bases, and Sarah was the daughter of a Marine gunnery sergeant. 2 girls who understood what it meant to grow up in the shadow of service. Want me to file a complaint? No point. Aaliyah stands and smooths her shirt. He's not wrong. From where he's sitting, I'm just the help. You're more than that. He doesn't know that. And that's the point. Aaliyah checks her reflection in the mirror, face calm, no trace of anger or hurt. Just professional neutrality. How much longer on those access logs? Sarah's expression shifts. Another 48 hours, maybe less. The archive system is really old, but I'm working on it. Good. Aaliyah turns back to face her friend. Because he's getting nervous. Did you see how fast he grabbed that ring? He recognized it. You sure? Positive. Aaliyah moves toward the door, hand on the frame. Which means he remembers what happened in 2015. And if he remembers, he's worried about who else might. She pushes back through into the main bar. The crowd has gotten thicker, more SEALs, more support staff, more regular people who like to drink near warriors. The noise level has risen. Someone started a game of darts near the back wall. The jukebox has moved on to some country song about trucks and heartbreak. Aaliyah returns to her section and picks up where she left off. She clears a table of empty bottles, wipes down the surface with practiced skill, and resets it with fresh napkins and a clean ashtray. Her movements are efficient with no wasted energy, the kind that comes from years of training, though no one here recognizes it for what it is. Christopher watches her from his table. His eyes track her movements with the focus of a hunter sizing up prey. After a minute, he says something to his friends. They laugh. One of them pulls out a phone and taps at the screen. If you've ever felt invisible in a room full of people, hit that like button, because Aaliyah's silence is about to become the loudest sound in this bar. Aaliyah makes 3 more rounds through her section. She takes orders, delivers drinks, and smiles at the right moments. Neutral, professional, forgettable. Chief Ramirez orders another beer. When she sets it down, his rough voice barely rises above a whisper. That ring real? Aaliyah meets his eyes, dark brown and sharp despite his age. You tell me, Chief. Me? He picks up the beer but doesn't drink. I saw one like it once. Long time ago. The man who wore it was the best operator I ever met. Serious as a heart attack. Never bragged, never had to. He pauses. He had a kid, a little girl. I used to see them together sometimes on base. That's so? Yeah, Ramirez finally takes a sip. Funny thing though, the guy disappeared about 10 years back. Mission went wrong. They said equipment failure, bad information, the usual cover story. His eyes lock onto hers. But some of us knew better. Aaliyah doesn't respond right away. She collects 2 empty glasses from his table and wipes away the water rings they've left. Sometimes equipment does fail. Sometimes Ramirez leans back in his booth. And sometimes coordinates get changed. Pickup points get moved. Good men get left behind. He jerks his chin toward Christopher's table. You know Wade was the communications person for special operations back then? I didn't. Now you do. Ramirez returns his attention to his beer. Watch yourself, kid. Men like that don't like being reminded of their mistakes. Aaliyah nods once and moves on. Her heart rate hasn't changed. Her breathing stays steady. But behind her eyes, calculations are running. Probabilities, timelines, risk assessments. The night wears on. 11 more becomes midnight. The crowd thins slightly as the married operators head home. The single ones settle in for the long night. Christopher's table orders another round, then another. His voice gets louder with each beer. His jokes get meaner. Hey, Trident girl. He waves her over. Got a question for you. Aaliyah approaches the table, order pad ready. What can I get you? Information. Christopher leans forward, elbows on the table. His friends are watching with the excitement of people at a boxing match. If that ring's real, you should know basic SEAL stuff, right? So tell me, what's the hand signal for enemy contact rear? The bar around them has gone quiet again. This is entertainment now, a challenge given in front of witnesses. Aaliyah could walk away, could change the subject, could make an excuse. Instead, she shifts her weight and brings her left hand up in a smooth motion. Fist closed, 2 fingers extended, pointed backward over her shoulder. Textbook perfect. No hesitation, Christopher's smile fades. Lucky guess. Is there anything else, or can I get back to work? Yeah, actually. Christopher reaches into his pocket, pulls out the fake ring, and holds it up. How about you tell me where you really got this? Because I'm thinking we should check with base security. Make sure nothing's been stolen recently. Go ahead. Aaliyah meets his eyes. There's a serial number on the inside. Check it with military records if you want. That stops him for just a moment. Confusion flickers across his face. Then he laughs it off. Military records, please. Like they'd have random costume jewelry on file. Try it and see. The standoff lasts 5 seconds. Then Christopher pockets the ring again. Get lost, waitress. Aaliyah turns and walks away. Behind her, she hears one of Christopher's friends whisper, Dude, what if she's for real? And Christopher's response, sharp and certain, she's not. Trust me. By Wanderers in the morning, the bar is nearly empty. Grant Hale and his officers left an hour ago. Chief Ramirez left shortly after, but not before catching Aaliyah's eye one more time and giving her a small nod. Now it's just the serious drinkers, the staff cleaning up, and Christopher's table. Aaliyah wipes down the bar surface, collects stray coasters, and empties ashtrays. Her hands know the routine so well she doesn't have to think, which leaves her mind free to plan. Hours until Sarah pulls the access logs. 2 more shifts before Christopher possibly transfers to another base. Time is running short. The kitchen door swings open. Sarah appears, now in regular clothes, ready to head home. She walks up to the bar and leans in close. Wade just posted a photo to the base meme page. Check your phone. Aaliyah pulls out her device and opens the private group. There it is, a picture of the fake ring sitting on a bar napkin. The caption reads, "When your jewelry budget is bigger than your training record, Trident Girl thinks she's one of us. LOL. 7 comments already, most of them laughing. A few defend her, but weakly. One person has tagged the base's public affairs office. He's making this worse. Sarah's voice is tight. This is harassment. It's strategy. Aaliyah pockets her phone. He's trying to ruin my reputation before anyone starts asking real questions. Which means he's scared. Or he's just a jerk who enjoys making people miserable. Both can be true. Aaliyah continues cleaning. Can you speed it up? I'll try, but the archive system needs multiple security checks. Too fast, and we trigger security flags. Sarah glances toward Christopher's table. He's paying his bill now, getting ready to leave. Be careful. Men like that, when they feel trapped, they get dangerous. I know. Christopher and his crew file out. As he passes the bar, he tosses a $1 bill onto the counter. For your trouble, Trident Girl, buy yourself a real uniform. The door swings shut behind him. The bar falls quiet, except for the low hum of the refrigerators and the distant sound of waves breaking against the shoreline beyond the base. Aaliyah picks up the $1, folds it exactly, and slips it into her pocket. When the last customer leaves and the manager locks the front door, she helps the other staff finish cleaning. She mops floors. She stocks the coolers. She counts the money in the register. All of it is done with the same careful efficiency she's shown all night. At 2:30 in the morning, she finally steps out the back door into the cool California night. The parking lot is mostly empty. Her car, a plain Honda Civic, sits under a flickering light. She walks toward it, keys already in hand, when her phone buzzes. Sarah. Text message. Found something. Archive shows Wade accessed Ghost Team files 3 weeks ago. Same day you started working at the Anchor. Aaliyah reads it twice, then deletes it. She climbs into her car, starts the engine, and sits there for a long moment. The radio plays quietly, some talk show about sports. She's not listening. Weeks ago, she applied for this job. 2 weeks ago, she was hired. 1 week ago, she started serving drinks to the men who might know what happened to her father, and Christopher Wade, the man who was the communications person for Ghost Team's final mission, accessed their sealed files the exact same day. She walked through the Anchor's door for the first time. He knows, or suspects, or is checking to make sure his secrets stay buried. Aaliyah pulls the real ring out from under her shirt. The chain catches the dim light. She holds the trident up and studies it like she has 1,000 times before. Looking for answers her father didn't live long enough to give her. The ring is more than jewelry, more than sentiment. It's a key, literally. Built into the band, so small it's invisible to the naked eye, is a microchip. Technology that shouldn't exist in something made 10 years ago. Technology that her father, in his final message, told her would turn on when the time was right. She tried scanning it once. The chip appeared dead. No signal, no data, just a piece of sleeping hardware waiting for the correct conditions. But 2 nights ago, something changed. She was closing up the Anchor alone in the back room when the ring suddenly grew warm against her skin. Just for a second. Just enough to notice. When she pulled it out, a tiny LED light built into the bottom of the trident was blinking red. Slow. Once every 5 seconds, the chip is waking up, unlocking, getting ready to reveal whatever Rafael Torres put into it before he died. Hours, Sarah said, until the access logs are ready. But the chip, according to the testing tool Aaliyah ran on it yesterday, needs 72 hours to fully unlock. Which means she has to keep Christopher close, keep him visible, keep him thinking she's just a waitress with big dreams and a fake ring until the moment she can prove otherwise. Aaliyah starts driving. The streets around Coronado are quiet at this hour. She passes the main gate, shows her civilian access badge to the guard, and heads toward a small apartment building 2 miles inland, the kind of place that rents month to month and doesn't ask too many questions. Her apartment is basic. Bedroom, bathroom. Small kitchen area. A futon that works as both couch and bed. A small table with a laptop and scattered papers. The walls are bare, except for one item. A photograph in a frame sitting on the otherwise empty bookshelf. Rafael Torres in full combat gear, desert camouflage, a rifle across his chest. Behind him, barely visible, the tail section of a helicopter. And standing next to him, small enough that the top of her head barely reaches his elbow, is 8-year-old Aaliyah. She's wearing dog tags that are way too big on her small body. Her father's hand rests on her shoulder. The back of the photo, she knows without looking, has his handwriting. If you're reading this, the ring worked. Finish what I started. Love you forever, Ghost One. She found the photo 2 years ago in a safety deposit box her mother never mentioned, along with the ring. Along with a letter explaining that Rafael Torres wasn't just a SEAL. He was part of something called Legacy Operations, a program that trained family members in secret to continue investigations if the main operator was killed or stopped. Her mother refused to discuss it, called it conspiracy thinking, and urged Aaliyah to move on and live a normal life. But Aaliyah couldn't, because the letter explained that Ghost Team didn't die from equipment failure. They died because someone changed their pickup coordinates. Someone on the inside? Someone who wore the same uniform, the same trident. And her father spent his last hour of life putting evidence onto a chip small enough to hide in a ring, betting that his daughter would be smart enough, patient enough, and determined enough to finish what he started. Will Aaliyah's cover hold long enough to catch the man who killed her father? Drop a comment. Do you think Christopher suspects something? Aaliyah sits on the edge of her futon, the ring dangling from its chain. The LED is still blinking, red, slow, steady like a heartbeat. She pulls out her laptop and opens a secret folder. Inside are files she's been building for 18 months, service records carefully obtained, mission reports where she could find them, personnel transfers, financial records where they're public. And at the center of it all, a timeline, March 14th, 2015. Ghost Team inserted into dangerous territory. Mission goals, reconnaissance and target identification. 8 operators, 7 support people on standby. 1 communications person coordinating from base. Captain Christopher Wade, March 15th, 2015. Ghost Team missed their first check-in window, blamed on radio trouble. Happens in mountainous areas. March 15th, 2015, evening. Ghost Team called for emergency pickup. Coordinates provided. Helicopters sent out, March 16th, 2015, 3:10 a.m. Helicopters arrived at pickup point. Nobody there. Search pattern started March 16th, 2015, 7 a.m. Ghost Team found, 4 miles from original pickup coordinates. All 8 operators dead. Investigation said it was hostile action. Equipment failure prevented them from reaching the correct pickup point. Case closed. Medals awarded after death. Families notified. Life moved on, except Rafael Torres left a message in a ring. And that message is almost ready to speak. Aaliyah closes the laptop. She takes off her work clothes, showers away the smell of beer and fried food, and lies down on the futon. Sleep doesn't come easily. It never does anymore. But eventually, tiredness wins. She dreams of helicopters, of voices on radios, of her father's face, serious and determined, pressing a ring into her palm. When the time comes, you'll know what to do. Morning arrives grey and cold. Aaliyah is back at the anchor by 10 Nord, helping prep for the lunch crowd. The manager, a retired Marine named Collins, who runs the place with military efficiency, assigns her the same section. Same tables, same routine, except Christopher Wade walks in at 11:15. He shouldn't be here. His schedule usually has him in training exercises during the day. But here he is, with 2 different friends this time, settling into a booth in Aaliyah's section. He makes eye contact and smiles. It's not friendly. Aaliyah approaches with menus and water glasses. Afternoon. What can I get you started with? How about the truth? Christopher leans back, arms spread across the top of the booth. Did some checking last night. Called a friend at military headquarters. Asked about that serial number you mentioned. Aaliyah sets down the waters. Doesn't react. And they said records that old are sealed. Can't be accessed without special permission. His smile widens. Which means you're lying. There's no way you have a real seal ring with a traceable serial number. So I'm thinking maybe we make this official. Talk to the base commander. See about getting you banned from serving here. That your plan? Unless you want to come clean. Admit you bought that thing at a surplus store. Apologize for stolen valor. Then maybe we let this go. One of his friends, a younger SEAL with a fresh haircut, speaks up. Come on, Wade. Maybe ease up. No. Christopher's voice goes hard. This is important. People see someone like her pretending to be connected to us. It cheapens everything we do. Everything we sacrifice. He points at Aliyah. You want to serve drinks? Fine. But don't pretend to be something you're not. Aliyah pulls out her order pad, pen ready. So that's water all around then? Or did you want to order food? The dismissal is so smooth, so totally calm, that Christopher's face turns red. He opens his mouth, closes it, then stands suddenly. You know what, forget it. This place is going downhill anyway. He tosses a $5 bill on the table. That's for wasting my time. He walks out fast. His friends exchange glances, leave their own tip, and follow. The bar is quiet for a moment. Then someone from another table calls out, Hey, can we get another round? And life continues, but Aliyah notices something. On her way past the booth where Christopher sat, she finds it, a napkin crumpled up, written in pen. You're playing a dangerous game. Walk away before you get hurt. She pockets the napkin, continues her shift, serves lunch to a dozen tables, smiles, chats, blends in. And all the while, the ring under her shirt grows warmer. The chip is getting closer. Sarah shows up during the afternoon break and takes a seat at the bar. Aliyah brings her a soda. Update, the manager's getting pressure. Sarah keeps her voice low. Someone filed a formal complaint saying you're creating a hostile work environment by making false claims about military service. She looks miserable. Christopher signed it. The complaint went through official channels. Collins has to investigate. I tried to slow it down, but HR is involved now. You might have 48 hours before they tell you to quit. Then we move faster. Aliyah wipes down the bar. Where are we on those logs? 24 hours, maybe less. But Aliyah, if they fire you, you lose access to this place. Wade won't come around anymore. You'll lose your chance. I won't lose anything. Aliyah glances toward the door, where Chief Ramirez is walking in for his daily beer. Because Christopher Wade is scared. And scared people make mistakes. That night, Aliyah closes the bar alone. Collins gave the other staff the evening off. Budget cuts, he said. But really, he's distancing himself, preparing for when HR tells him to let her go. She understands. He's a good man in a bad position. At 11:45, the last customer leaves. Aliyah locks the front door, turns off most of the lights, and begins the closing routine. Sweep floors, wipe surfaces, count the register. Standard procedure. She's in the back room checking supplies when she hears it, the front door opening, but she locked it. She's certain. Aliyah moves to the doorway and looks through. A figure stands in shadow against the dim, emergency lighting from the exit signs. Male, 6 feet tall, wearing a hoodie, hands in pockets. We're closed. Her voice carries no fear, only fact. The figure steps forward. Street light through the windows catches his face. Christopher Wade, he's not smiling now. Thought we should talk privately. Aliyah doesn't move from the doorway. Breaking in is illegal, even for SEALs. Door was open. No, it wasn't. Christopher takes another step. You're not going to let this go, are you? Whatever you think you know, whatever game you're playing, I'm just serving drinks. Stop it. He's closer now, 10 feet. I checked you out. Really checked. Aliyah Torres, age 29. No military service. Father was Rafael Torres, SEAL Team 5, died 2015. Mother remarried, moved to Oregon. You bounced around between colleges, never finished. Worked retail, worked food service. Then suddenly, 3 months ago, you moved to San Diego. 1 month ago, you apply here. His eyes are hard. That's not coincidence. People need jobs, not here. Not at this bar. Not when your father... He stops, catches himself. Not when you could work anywhere else. Maybe I like the atmosphere, or maybe you're looking for something. Christopher pulls his hands from his pockets. Empty. Showing he's not a threat, but his posture says otherwise. Here's what I think. I think someone told you stories. conspiracy theories about how your dad died, and you bought into it. Now you're here playing detective, trying to prove something that isn't true. Aaliyah says nothing, so let me save you the trouble. Christopher's voice drops. Your father died because of bad information and worse luck. It happens. It's tragic, but it's not a conspiracy. There's no cover-up, no hidden truth. Just a good man who died in the line of duty. He pauses. Go home, Aaliyah. Mourn your dad. But stop this before you embarrass yourself. Or worse what? The question hangs in the air. Christopher doesn't answer right away. He just stares at her. And in that silence, Aaliyah sees proof of everything she suspected. Then the ring hidden under her shirt suddenly gets hot. Not painfully, but clearly. The LED must be going crazy. The chip is close. So close, Christopher sees her reaction, sees her hand move without thinking toward her chest. His eyes narrow. What's wrong? Nothing. You need to leave. Show me. Excuse me. Whatever's under your shirt. Show me. Christopher takes another step. Because I just realized something. You're not wearing that fake ring anymore. Haven't seen it all day. So where is it? What are you really hiding? Aaliyah backs up, puts the door frame between them. Her right hand drops to her pocket where her phone sits, one button press away from calling 911. Last chance. Wait, walk out or I make this official. For a long moment, they face each other, then Christopher laughs. It's bitter, tired, you have no idea what you're messing with. The things you don't understand. The consequences. He turns toward the door, stops, looks back. 48 hours. That's how long you have before HR forces Collins to fire you. After that, you're just another regular person with no access and no believability. Consider that your warning, he leaves. The door swings shut. The lock clicks. Aaliyah waits 5 full minutes before moving. Then she pulls out the ring. The LED is blinking faster now, every 2 seconds. Red, urgent. The chip is almost ready. 24 hours, maybe less. She finishes closing the bar in record time, drives home through empty streets, locks herself in her apartment, and opens her laptop to a secret message from Sarah. Got the logs. You need to see this. Wade accessed Ghost Team files 53 times in the last 3 weeks. He also accessed your file, your mother's file, even reached out to your high school records. He's been researching you as much as you've been researching him. He knows who you are, and he's preparing for something. Aaliyah reads it 3 times. Then she types back, how long until he transfers? The response comes immediately, 48 hours. Orders came through this afternoon. He's being reassigned to Virginia. Leaves Saturday morning. Aaliyah looks at the calendar. Today is Thursday. Saturday is in less than 2 days. The chip will unlock by Friday evening, according to her calculations. Christopher leaves Saturday morning, which means she has a window of about 12 hours to expose him before he disappears into the military system on the east. Coast 12 hours to prove her. Father didn't die from bad luck. Quite hours to catch a killer who wears a hero's uniform. The ring grows warmer in her palm. The LED blinks faster, and somewhere in the encrypted data her father died protecting, the truth is waking up. Friday morning arrives with fog thick enough to taste. Aaliyah stands outside the Anchor at 6 a.m., waiting for Collins to unlock the door. Her phone shows 3 missed calls from Sarah, all from the last hour. She doesn't return them yet. Some conversations need to happen face-to-face. Collins arrives 10 minutes late, keys jangling in his weathered hand. He's 62, a retired Marine, with the kind of face that seems like it's seen too much to be surprised by anything. But when he looks at Aaliyah, there's something in his expression that wasn't there yesterday. Pity, maybe. Or giving up. Need to talk to you. He unlocks the door and holds it open. Office now. They walk through the empty bar. Morning light filters through the windows, catching dust particles floating in air that still smells faintly of last night's beer. Collins's office is barely larger than a closet, crammed with filing cabinets and a desk buried under paperwork. He points to the single chair. Aaliyah stays standing, HR called. Collins doesn't sit either. Got a formal complaint. Theft. Says you've been pocketing tips meant for other staff. That's not true, I know. He runs a hand through grey hair gone thin. Checked the cameras myself last night. Watched 3 weeks of footage. You've been clean as a whistle. Honest, on time, never caused trouble, until Wade started his campaign. He leans against the desk. But HR doesn't care about cameras. They care about paperwork. And Wade's got signatures, witnesses, 3 different staff members willing to say they saw you take money that wasn't yours. Staff he paid off. Probably. But I can't prove that. Collins looks genuinely sorry. They're giving me no choice here. Either you quit voluntarily, or I have to fire you for cause. If you quit, your record stays clean. If I fire you, it follows you everywhere. Aaliyah processes this. The timeline just collapsed. She has hours, not days. When do they want my answer? End of business today. 5 Villager PM. Collins shifts uncomfortably. For what it's worth, I believe you. Whatever's going on between you and Wade, I don't think you're the problem. But I'm just the manager. I don't make policy. I understand. Aaliyah moves toward the door. I'll have an answer by 5. Aaliyah. Collins stops her. Be careful. I've seen men like Wade before. They don't lose gracefully. She nods and leaves. The bar won't open for another 3 hours, but she starts prep work anyway, stocking coolers, slicing fruit for garnishes, setting tables. Her hands know the routine well enough that her mind can work on other problems. The ring, still on its chain under her shirt, has stopped blinking. When she checked it at 4:00 a.m., the LED was solid red, no more pulsing. The chip has finished unlocking, which means the data her father died protecting is ready. She just needs the right moment to reveal it. Her phone buzzes. Sarah, text message, where are you? We need to talk. Grant Hale requested your file this morning. Aaliyah steps into the back room and calls her. Sarah picks up on the first ring. He knows. Sarah's voice is tight. Not everything, but enough. He requested your complete background check. When the system flagged it as sealed, he pushed harder. Used his command authority. What did he find? Depends on his clearance level. If he's got top secret with special access, he'll see the legacy operations designation. If not, he'll just see blocks of blacked-out text and a note saying more information requires special military authorization. Sarah pauses. Either way, he knows you're not just a bartender. Good, good? Aaliyah, if he tells Wade, he won't. Aaliyah keeps her voice level. Because Grant Hale was Rafael Torres' executive officer. They served together for 6 years. And if Dad trusted anyone enough to include them in legacy, it would be Grant. You're gambling on a man you've never met? I'm gambling on my father's judgment. Aaliyah checks the time. 20 a.m. Christopher's transfer order's still active. As of an hour ago, yes. Transport leaves Coronado at 8 Mar tomorrow morning. He's already started out processing. Then tonight's the night. Aaliyah makes the decision as she speaks it. The ring's ready. The data is ready. I just need him in the same room as Grant Hale with enough witnesses that he can't run. How? Working on it. Aaliyah ends the call. The morning passes in slow motion. Collins opens the bar at 11 Queen. The lunch crowd trickles in, sailors on liberty, support staff from the base, a handful of regular people who like the atmosphere. Aaliyah works her section with mechanical precision, but her attention is split. Every time the door opens, she looks up, waiting. Christopher doesn't show. By 2 p.m., she's starting to worry. If he's avoiding the anchor, staying away until his transfer goes through, her plan collapses. She needs him here, needs him confident enough to make a mistake. Then Chief Ramirez walks in. He takes his usual seat at the end of the bar and orders his usual beer. When Aaliyah brings it, he slides a folded napkin across the scarred wooden surface. Commander wants to see you. Ramirez's rough voice barely carries over the background noise. Tonight, 8:01 p.m., said to tell you it's about your father. Aaliyah picks up the napkin and unfolds it. An address written in neat block letters, not on base, a house in town. He say anything else? Yeah, Ramirez meets her eyes. He said Rafael Torres was the best man he ever served with. And if Torres had a daughter, she deserves the truth. The old SEAL stands, leaves a 20 on the bar and walks out. Aaliyah pockets the napkin. Her heart is racing now, but her breathing stays controlled. 4 in, 4 hold, 4 out, 4 hold. At 3 p.m., Sarah arrives. She's out of uniform, wearing jeans and a regular jacket, but her posture still screams military. She takes a booth in the back corner. Aaliyah brings water without being asked. Access logs. Sarah slides a USB drive across the table, hidden under a napkin. Everything Wade touched for the last month, including the files he tried to delete. Tried. Military servers keep backups of backups. He erased the main copies, but the archive system held them for 72 hours before permanent deletion. I pulled them 20 minutes before they would have disappeared. Sarah's expression is serious. He accessed Ghost Team operational files 53 times. Your file 18 times. He also searched for anyone connected to Rafael Torres, your mother, your aunt in Texas, your high school friends. He was building a profile, looking for weak points, or gathering information to ruin your reputation if you ever came forward. Sarah leans in. There's more. Night of March 14th, 2015. Christopher Wade was the communications person for Ghost Team's mission. He received their distress call at 10 p.m. Pickup coordinates were provided. But when I cross-referenced with helicopter dispatch logs, the coordinates Wade told aviation were 4 miles off from what Ghost Team sent. Aaliyah's fingers tighten on the water glass. Proof? Audio recordings. Standard procedure is to record all tactical communications. The archive kept them. Sarah's voice drops to barely a whisper. You can hear your father's voice calling in the pickup, giving coordinates. Then Wade's voice, giving different numbers to the pilots. It's right there, clear as day. Why would he change them? That's the piece I can't figure out. Unless... Sarah stops, thinks. Unless someone paid him. Or threatened him. The only reason to strand your own team is if you benefit from their silence. Aaliyah takes the USB drive and slips it into her pocket next to the ring. 2 pieces of evidence, 2 different sources, both pointing at the same man. There's something else. Sarah pulls out her phone and shows Aaliyah a text message. Wade sent this to 5 different SEALs an hour ago. She reads, Anchor bar tonight, 8 p.m., buying rounds. Big announcement before I transfer. 2 p.m. The same time Grant Hale wants to meet. Aaliyah doesn't believe in coincidences. He's forcing a confrontation. Or celebrating his escape. Either way, the anchor is going to be packed tonight. Every SEAL on base who isn't on duty will show up for free drinks and a chance to say goodbye to Wade. Sarah pockets her phone. If you're planning something, that's your audience. But it's also his home turf, 50 guys who think he's a hero. Good. Aaliyah stands. The more witnesses, the better. She works the rest of her shift in a state of focused calm, the kind of mental clarity that comes when all the variables align and there's only one path forward. At 5 p.m., Collins calls her back into his office. He's holding a resignation form. I'm sorry. He sets it on the desk between them. HR wants this signed by close of business. Aaliyah picks up the pen, signs her name, dates it, and slides it back across the desk. Collins looks surprised. That's it? No fight? No fight. Aaliyah heads for the door. I'll work tonight's shift. Consider it my notice. You don't have to. I want to. She looks back at him. One last night for closure. Collins doesn't argue. Maybe he senses something in her tone. Maybe he's just relieved she's making this easy. Either way, he files the paperwork and pretends not to notice when Aaliyah spends the next 2 hours rearranging the bar's tech setup. The anchor has a basic AV system, projector mounted in the ceiling, usually used for sports games, speakers in each corner, a control tablet behind the bar. Aaliyah learns every setting, tests the projector's range, checks the speaker volume. By 7 p.m., she knows exactly how the system works. The evening crowd starts arriving at 7:30, SEALs mostly, some with dates, some in groups. They're here for Christopher's party, his unofficial goodbye before shipping out to Virginia. The mood is happy and loud. Someone feeds quarters into the jukebox, and rock music fills the space. Christopher arrives at 7:45. He's wearing regular clothes, jeans and a polo shirt, but he walks like he owns the room. His crew follows him in, 6 other SEALs who treat him like a celebrity. They take over the largest table right in the center of the bar. Christopher orders a round of shots for everyone. When Aaliyah brings them, he doesn't look at her, doesn't notice her at all. But she sees his eyes flick toward her pocket, toward where the ring might be. He's still wondering, still worried. At 7:55, Commander Grant Hale walks through the door. He's in regular clothes too, but there's no mistaking his bearing. Conversation's quiet as junior personnel spot him. He nods to a few familiar faces, then takes a booth near the back, alone, waiting. The bar is packed now, 50 people, maybe more. Standing room only near the walls. Aaliyah works the floor with practiced skill, delivering drinks, clearing empties, navigating the crowd. She's invisible again, just the help. Nobody pays attention. At 8:10 p.m., Christopher stands up and taps a knife against his glass. The bar quiets. All eyes turn to him. I wanted to say a few words before I head east. Christopher's voice carries easily. He's used to commanding attention. Been stationed here at Coronado for 6 years. Best posting of my career. Worked with the best operators in the world. Made friendships that'll last a lifetime. He raises his glass. To the Brotherhood, to the teams, and to everyone who serves with honor. Hooyah! The response is immediate, loud, unified. Christopher drinks. The crowd drinks with him, then he sets his glass down and his expression shifts, becomes more serious. But tonight's also about integrity. About protecting what the trident means. His eyes find Aaliyah. Because lately I've seen people disrespecting that symbol. Wearing fake rings. Making false claims. And I think it's time we address that. The bar goes quiet, uncomfortable. People are looking around, trying to figure out who he's talking about. There's a woman working here. Christopher points directly at Aaliyah. Claims her father was a SEAL. Claims she has a real Trident Ring. But I've done my homework. Checked records. Talked to people. And guess what? She's lying. She's a waitress with big dreams, trying to ride on the reputation of real warriors. Aaliyah stands perfectly still. Doesn't react. Doesn't move. So here's my challenge. Christopher's voice rises. Anyone can wear a ring. Show me proof, or admit you're fake, because I'm done watching stolen valor go unchecked in my house. Grant Hale starts to stand, but Aaliyah catches his eye and shakes her head slightly. Not yet. Grant settles back into his booth, but his jaw is tight. You want proof? Aaliyah's voice cuts through the silence, clear, steady, carrying to every corner of the room. Christopher turns to face her fully. Yeah, I want proof. Real proof. Not stories. Not fake jewelry. Aaliyah sets down her tray and walks toward Christopher's table. The crowd parts for her. 50 pairs of eyes watching. She stops 3 feet from him, close enough to make this personal. You said check the records. Aaliyah pulls the ring out from under her shirt and lets it dangle on its chain, catching the overhead lights. So let's check them, Christopher laughs. We've been through this. That's a prop. Then you won't mind if I activate it. Aaliyah lifts her left sleeve, revealing a small bandage on her inner wrist, the kind used for minor cuts or scrapes. She peels it off slowly. Underneath is a scar, small, rectangular, maybe half an inch long, surgically precise. Christopher's smile fades. What is that? Aaliyah doesn't answer. Instead, she removes the ring from its chain and rotates it 3 times in her fingers, a specific pattern, deliberate. Then she presses the trident symbol directly against the scar. For a moment, nothing happens. Then light. A small blue glow comes from beneath her skin. Not painful, not bright, just visible enough that everyone nearby can see it. The embedded chip turning on, communicating with the ring, unlocking. What the... Christopher steps back. The projector in the ceiling hums to life. The screen, normally reserved for football games, flickers, and suddenly text appears. Large clear. Undeniable. Encrypted log. Ghost Team final transmission date 2015-03-14. Time 22:47. Zulu X field coordinates transmitted 34-7821 degree N. Then 452 coordinates received by aviation 34.7124 degree N. 692180 cents de discrepancy. 4.3 mile source of alteration. Captain C. Wade. Comms liaison. The bar erupts, not in sound but in collective gasps. 50 people inhaling at once. Someone near the back says, "Holy cow."